Hello everyone, welcome back. How are you all doing today? So, one of the great things that a lot of people are looking forward to seeing in episode 9 are the twists and turns as well as the surprises in this movie by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that I'm really looking forward to seeing in this movie is exactly what J.J. Abrams is going to do that's going to change our view on The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, the sequels entirely, as well as the prequels and the original trilogy alike. Basically, the entire Skywalker saga. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with the secret between both Kenobi, Luke Skywalker, and Rey about Luke Skywalker himself. Specifically, a description of both Rey and Obi-Wan Kenobi's Force ghost on a desert world that is likely to be Tatooine. The next goes over Kenobi giving a lecture to Rey about the dark side of the Force and the dangers of it all, revealing to Rey that before Luke cut himself off from the Force, Obi-Wan was trying to reach out to Luke where Luke was exploring the dark side of the Force on Ahch-To. It's described that Kenobi says to Rey that Luke is the only Jedi who knows of what he knows of the true nature of the Force and the dark side itself, without falling to it, stating that Luke was able to experiment with both the dark and the light, since he couldn't harm anybody on the planet. Kenobi is said to explain to Rey that after Ben fell, Luke was desperate to learn why people fall to the dark side of the Force. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, first things first, we do know that Wadi Rum, alright, specifically Jordan, is actually going to serve as a location that they used for 2 different worlds in episode 9. So they shot over there for, I think a number of 3 months in total. Now, that's a long time to shoot for just one world in episode 9, so we do know that there are going to be 2 desert worlds in this movie, one of which most likely is going to be Jakku, and the other of which is most definitely going to be Tatooine without a doubt. So Obi-Wan Kenobi's Force ghost giving Rey a lecture about the dark side of the Force eventually segues into a conversation about Luke Skywalker before he cut himself off from the Force. So Luke has been on Ahch-To for quite a long time, it seems, and that before he cut himself off from the Force, both Obi-Wan, Yoda and Anakin were trying to reach out to him, specifically Obi-Wan Kenobi, and pretty much Luke Skywalker was exploring the ways of the dark side on an island where he couldn't really harm much of anybody except for, the caretakers, and that's about it. So, with that being said, Luke was desperate in an attempt after Ben Solo turning to the dark side to learn more about the dark and exactly why people turn. Now, not only does this connect to what Luke Skywalker did in Dark Empire, like I say, we do know that J.J. Abrams wants to connect this movie to not only, existing canon lore, but also inspirational pieces from Legends material. Now, in Dark Empire, because it does remind me of that comic line, in Dark Empire, the reason as to why Luke Skywalker falls to the dark side is because he had an interest in why his father turned. He wanted to know and learn more about the dark side of the Force. So in that comic, he falls to the dark side because he was learning more about it. But in this scenario, Luke did not specifically fall to the dark side, but was experimenting with both the dark and the light on the island of Ahch-To. Hence, most likely him going down toward the cave area where Rey went, exploring the ways of the dark side itself and learning new truths. A couple of days ago, about Luke's X-Wing actually being used over at Pinewood. I don't know if you guys saw it, but we can most definitely say, I think at this point, that flashback scene is going to pretty much transition to what Obi-Wan is talking about. Perhaps that flashback scene is going to be shown to us, the audience, as Kenobi is talking to Rey. That's my best guess, honestly. So, Episode 9 is a big deal. It's being used as a course correction by Disney and Lucasfilm, and we also know that they are desperate in an attempt to really gain the trust of a lot of fans to come back to the theaters after the backlash of The Last Jedi. So this really is, a very important movie for Disney and Lucasfilm in order to get things right for the fans. So Obi-Wan Kenobi's Force Ghost, you guys may have heard about this a couple of days ago. One of the big techniques that they are doing right now is through the use of CGI to recreate the Alec Guinness version, as well as applying some of the facial structures of Ewan McGregor and his face onto Sir Alec Guinness's. So we're going to have a mixture of Alec Guinness's Force Ghost and Ewan McGregor's in one actual body. Now, that to me sounds like it could also be a risk by Disney and Lucasfilm, because I think that most fans remember Obi-Wan as we did at the very end of Return of the Jedi. However, there have been a lot of hints before made in the past that we're going to have multiple versions of Obi-Wan. You know, like an older and a younger one of Obi-Wan Kenobi's Force Ghost itself, communicating with Rey, and even Luke Skywalker. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.